Welcome back to the PTSD Princess Podcast. I'm Jerica Rose, your host. I survived homelessness, sexual and verbal abuse. I'm here to guide you through your healing, growth, and reclaiming your self-love. So let's dive in. Hello, today I have my good girl, Jasmine. She's a stay-at-home mom, entrepreneur, and she is a woman of God, which I totally love. So today she's going to introduce herself and just get a little feel of it. So you want to introduce yourself?
Of course I do. Thank you so much for having me, Jerica. I really appreciate this. Honestly, I'm no special character. I grew up in Woodbridge, Virginia, and by way of the military. My family is from Louisiana. We are Creole, but I was raised in Virginia and I went to college in Virginia. I studied psychology undergrad, originally went there for nursing. Got married at 21. So that was my final year of college when we got married. And we were pregnant shortly after. And so I graduated with my degree, got my bachelor's in psychology, and I tried working. This was the pandemic at this point. So I tried working, but after I had a baby, I just changed everything about who I thought I would be in life. Like,
Amen.
honestly. I'm
That,
sorry, it kind of broke up a little bit, so I couldn't hear you.
yeah, that's nice. I can kind of piggyback off that too. Like, I came here at a very young age. I actually moved here to Virginia before my mom. And that kind of like really strayed me down a crazy path, honestly. Like, I moved in with my aunt and my uncle, and I just realized, like, hold up, where is my mom? So I just always acted out, and it got crazy. But long story short, I had my first son, and I'm like, hold up. I never want to make my kids feel like this. So I literally had to do whatever I could to make sure they stayed in my hands, whether I was struggling, had money, or, whatever the case may be. So I'm glad you mentioned that because it's hard. Like, motherhood is not easy.
No, it's not easy, one. And I'm going to say, like, you don't, I mean, some of us, like you grew up under special circumstances. So you kind of had an idea of what kind of mom you would be just based on the circumstances you grew up. But, like, you still didn't really know what that would look like. And so when you become the mom, everything changes. Like, what career you want to go for, like, what you want your day to day look like. So, yeah. Before, I was super career driven. Like, I just knew I was going to have a 9 to 5 and I was going to be like super regular, whatever that means. But I am so far from that now.
Yeah, for real. Like, my mind has been broadened. I tapped in with like some 6 and 7 figure earners. I'm like, if they can do it, I can do it too. Like, my story is not as deep as theirs, but you know,
Hello.
people can get out of the struggle if they really just set their priorities. So yeah. So what is life for you like now? I know you said you're at home and you have your kids. So
Yeah,
what's like your
so
routine?
my routine, well, so I'm an entrepreneur as well. I sell hair oil, and my husband and I also have another business called Live in Peace. And so that's something that we're always just like maneuvering and talking about and dreaming about. So right now, my daily looks like my kids because they're young. So I have a 5 year old, a 3 year old, and a 1 year old. And so I'm homeschooling the 5 year old as far as like just trying to implement some educational structure into our day. But most of my day is just like the mundane, we call it, like waking up and cleaning ourselves up, cooking breakfast. I'm really trying to. A part of my journey is spiritual and mindful living, and so I really try to like cook a breakfast, from scratch if I do pancakes and just like that. And so most of my day is like a lot in the kitchen. Most If you're a stay-at-home mom, you know what that means. You're in the kitchen majority of your day, but laundry, going outside. We spend so much time outside. A lot of my day is spent Most of my day is spent with my kids, I'm gonna be honest. But my entrepreneurship, it comes in the nooks and crannies. So like just
Yeah.
posting on social media occasionally, trying to remain engaged with people outside of my family because it is easy to drown in my daily life. So and that's what my life looks like right now. I am a homeowner. My husband and I, we own a home, and we're experiencing some hardship with that. We just had some plumbing done on the home, and then it just turned into a tragedy. So my daily is a little bit different right now. I'm not really living my normal day to day, but regardless, my kids are my daily. I'm gonna be honest. That's just when you have young kids, you know what that's like.
Yeah, exactly. Because when I had my first, I can kind of, piggyback off that too, because I thought I had the career, but I was still more of into like retail and sales. And I'm like, I had the experience, but I need to jump online. So that's kind of how I started too. And it's like my dad, he has his own business. So it's like, I already have that spirit in me. Yeah. So, and I'm just like, do I want to go down that path or do I want to go the career path? Like, my mom's side, I'm like, hold on, which one has more time and freedom in the future? you know?
Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, very excited, very exciting. So, any challenges that you have faced or that you got through? I know you're saying the whole basement thing or something about your house. I kind of read it online, but it's up to you if you want to share or something that you've got through that you can, kind of get a. Um,
Yeah, I mean, what I really want to share with people right now is I really want to talk about like self love and self esteem and self image. Those are like, that's the biggest challenge in my life. It started as a young girl. Things happened. I had trauma. And I just, ever since a young girl, I always struggle with self love. And so, like, but that impacted all the other things that I did. I used to drink a lot. I smoked a lot, and I just lived like I know might look like a very clean person, and I do love God, but I've been through that party girl lifestyle,
yeah.
and I started that very young. And so self love and self image are like it's been the biggest challenge of my life. And so I would just like, yeah, finding my own spirituality. I had to leave God. I went to church as a young girl. I was a Christian. I had to leave the church to find God again for myself. And I would say my biggest challenge is like loving me. Like I don't even feel like I liked my own face until 2 years ago when my life circumstances really forced me to take a break from social media. And that's when I was actually able to like love myself and like actually like the face that I have. Before then, I just felt like I had to look like somebody else all the time.
Whew. Let me take a deep breath.
Yeah.
Wow. And it's crazy because you're not the only what do you call millennial mom out there. Like we did grow up in a different era, so it's like these young girls now what they're doing, we already done did that. So if like we really have to be the inspiration for them, you know,
Right.
thing too. So it's like I understand the whole trauma thing. Like I started therapy July this year, and I didn't know I had all this underlying inner child trauma. Like, I did not know that. I cried every single session.
Had to
and
get it out.
I told this lady when I first went there, she's a black lady, about 40 years old. And I told her that very first session, I was like, I don't know you. I don't trust you like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? But I'm here because God put me here. And she was like, no worry, but this isn't a session to where like you have to hold back or you share what you want to share. So I just let it all on the table and girl, it's hard, because I love my mom to death, but it's certain things I can't discuss with her. So
Right.
yeah, that's
Therapy is also a huge part of my journey. I'm blessed and fortunate. My mom is a mental health counselor. And so when I was young, I was 15. My party girl era was not college. It was my young, like high school days. And so yeah, at 15, my parents looked at me and they were like, you're going to therapy.
yeah.
So I would drive. Yeah, I remember I drove myself to therapy. I worked and I had to pay my copay, and I went to therapy, and that was the start of my journey. But my like light bulb moment was sophomore year in college, my second year in college, when I read this book called The Power of Now. And that is what really helped me to tap into a mindset that wasn't necessarily given to me or raised in me from my family of origin.
Yeah.
And so that's what that therapy, the power of now, those two things changed the trajectory of my life to who the person you see right now. So
Amen. Amen. And I just love watching you online. I'm like, look at this girl. Like, she's younger than me, but she is doing the damn thing. You know what I'm saying? And it's not even
Aww.
about age limit anymore. It's about this.
Yeah.
And I had to realize, like, I have cousins way older than me, and they don't even talk like me. You know? And it's
Yeah.
like, okay, I know I'm different. Not to be
I
judgmental,
mean,
but it's like,
we've accessed different information.
yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
it's hard because I feel isolated. I feel like that meme, they hate to see me coming. Like, I feel like that's me right now. But I can't let that be what stops me from greatness. And that's why I've been following you and really, looking at you like, I'm like, she's gonna be unrecognizable. I know it. Like, I just see you on your path, and it's beautiful. And I'm so thankful to be able to connect with you in this way.
That's beautiful. Thank you. And like I said, that's what I'm trying to strive for is community. Like, how
Yeah.
can we build off of each other? Like, how could we learn something that's going to get us to the next level instead of
Right.
bonding all the time,
I,
And
for
that's what I
real.
told my boyfriend around back. Like, we made it this far, but to be honest, I met you through trauma bonding. Like, to be honest, you know what I'm saying? You was just there for me, but we eventually grew on each other. Then we had our toddler. So it turned out beautiful. But
Yeah, I love that. I mean, I married young. I was unhealed when I got married, and so my husband and I, like, we're going through the works together, like, seriously. But it's beautiful, right? Like, I just don't feel like you can bypass this. Like, if you want to get to a healed state and you want to pass on peace and prosperity to your kids, you got to go through it. Like, that crying you're doing in therapy, from my perspective, I'm also a grad student and I study mental health counseling. From my perspective, that is cleansing. Like, you found a safe space to cleanse all that out without judgment and to, like, just let it go because it's been living in you. And so, yeah, I love, having a healing journey has become a fad, and it is romanticized on the internet. But remember, like, we only see, like, the little glimpses of each other's lives, and most of us don't show up super authentic on the internet. So
yeah, yeah. And that was one of my main things going forward. Like, share your life. Like, there's somebody out there, a young girl that's scared to speak up. You know,
yeah.
if they're going through like mental abuse, verbal abuse, like walk around there like they're on eggshells. Like, nobody want to live like that.
And you
So,
don't have to.
right, yeah. So that was a great life tip, girl. You smart.
I learned I like to be transparent. Like, I have learned all my stuff from my own experiences. Like, I had to go through some. Like, I hate, sometimes I've been told that, like, I look like I act like I'm better than people or something. I don't live on the pedestal. I don't live on the mantle. Like, have gone through some stuff, and I'm still going through those things right now. So
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, yeah. I learned the hard way.
yeah.
For
For real.
real.
Whew. Yeah, that'd be a whole nother podcast topic, right?
I know it. So before we leave that topic, I do want to say my, like, life tip that I learned from my biggest life challenge, which I was talking about with self-love and self-image. The best thing a young person can do, or anybody at any age in their life going through stuff, is stay in the mirror. And I mean, like, just keep working on yourself. Life gets better the more we, like, fine tune who we are and falling in love with ourselves. Like, because then we get to show up our best self and we get to give people our best. But then when, like, things happen to us, we don't experience so much shame and guilt because we know we brought our best. So
Amen. Oh my gosh, I want to give you a hug right now. because I'm such a like girly, like people's person. You know what I'm saying? Like that's one thing people really don't know about me. Like I'm highly sensitive, but I love people. It's weird. But okay, that's cool. That's cool. So I'm glad we kept this short and juicy for the people. And I'm
Yeah.
so glad you showed up today, and you want to share where people can find you?
Yeah, so I'm on Facebook, Jasmine Alexander. You'll see me there with my husband. And then I'm on Instagram at Bad Gal to Mama. And I love that name, but and then I'm on Etsy. I have an Etsy shop and you can find me under it's J Nicole Essentials. And so yeah, those are the three places you can find me active right now. And I'm also on Threads. So my Instagram account, Bad Girl to Mama, I recently got on Threads. So you can find me there too.
All right. Go follow her, give her some love, shout her out, check out her hair products. Because I'm definitely going to tap into that myself. I want to start my journey. So this was beautiful. Like I said, I'm glad you showed up, Jasmine. And I'm going to link all your resources in the show notes for my peoples. And thank you. And we'll see you in the next episode.
Thank you.